Integers, its basics, advanced level problems, along with your preparation for your school math also. So with this, I would quickly like to introduce myself. This is Trishita Majumdar here, and I'm a teacher expert at Cuemath with a teaching experience of 4 years. I'm a subject matter expert of mathematics and reasoning, and the regions that I cater to is India and US. With this, let's look into the content for today. Let's look into the table of contents for today. We would be starting with what are integers, its applications in day-to-day life, the objectives for today's session, the problems, and the learning outcomes. So let's quickly look into a simple question right in front of you. I want all of you to try on this question, and I just want to check that how well are you aware of the concept of negative numbers and operations of integers before we go ahead with today's session. Yes, I can already see a lot of comments coming in the comment section. Anybody who wishes to tell the approach on how do you go about this question? All right. Now let me quickly take you through this. So it's told that what should be subtracted from minus 49. So from minus 49, what needs to be subtracted so that you get a minus 70? This is the question. Now let's say that I ask you what needs to be subtracted from 5 to get a 3. So what would your answer be? Your answer would be that you would be subtracting. How would you calculate this? You would get this 3 to the other side and you would subtract 5 minus 3, which would give you a 2. Hence 2 needs to be subtracted from 5 to get a 3. Similarly, you could get this minus 70 to the other side, which becomes a plus 70. So minus 49 plus 70 would give us how much? It would give us a 21. Hence 21 needs to be subtracted from minus 49 to get a minus 70. And you all could verify that as well. Minus 49 minus 21, which would give us a minus 70. Otherwise, the other way to go ahead with this question is by taking a simple equation. So from minus 49, you do not know what is to be subtracted. So let's assume it to be x. So which is equal to minus 70. If any of you do not understand the equation method, it's fine. You don't have to worry. You would be learning about it in future. And from here, you need the value of x from here. So you would be taking the minus 49 to the other side. And minus x is equal to minus 70 plus 49. And that is going to give you a minus. Whenever you have a minus and a plus number, the operation of integers says that the operation that needs to be performed should be a subtraction, and the result will always have the sign of the greater number. And as you can see that out of 70 and 49, 70 has a negative sign and it's a greater number, so the answer would become minus 21. So minus x is minus 21, so what's the value of x? It is nothing but 21. Hence 21 needs to be subtracted from minus 49 to get a minus 70. Okay? Alright, so with this, let's go ahead. Here we are going to see what do we mean by integers. An integer is any number including 0, positive numbers and negative numbers. It should be noted that an integer can never be a fraction, a decimal or a percentage. Some examples of integers include 2, 3 and all of these. Okay. So integers is a coverage of numbers which starts from minus infinity to plus infinity. When I say minus infinity, it means that it doesn't have any fixed range. It covers all the existing negative numbers. It covers all the existing positive numbers along with a 0 within itself. Okay, I hope the definition was clear enough. Now, here we are going to go ahead with a very common application which we find on integers in our day-to-day life. Let's quickly check with it. So here, if you all notice, we have a very common example of negative integers, that is the usage of thermometer. Thermometers are similar to number lines. I would be coming to number lines in some time on what is a number line, how do you represent the numbers and integers on a number line and so on. Okay. So this looks like a vertical number line. They have positive integers above 0 and negative integers below 0. Mathematically, a number line, let me just give you a quick brief, looks like this, wherein you have a 0 in between, and towards the right hand side of 0, you have all positive numbers, and towards the left hand side of 0, you have all negative numbers. Okay. So what they mean is that in a thermometer, the structuring of thermometer is very similar to a number line, but it is vertical. Like we draw the number line horizontally in math, the thermometer is kind of a vertical number line. So you could see that there's a 0 here, and anything below 0 is negative number, and anything above 0 is positive. So as you all could see, this is a 0, and everything below this are negative numbers, and everything above these are positive numbers. This is the best example to understand number line as well as integers. Okay. Alright. Let's quickly go ahead next about the number line. So as I was mentioning about the number line, let me again quickly draw and show you. Let's say that this is a number line. I have fixed it to 2 points, but actually a number line need not be fixed, as I told you that it covers all the negative numbers till minus infinity and all positive numbers till plus infinity. Okay. Now here you could represent the central value as 0. Okay, and all the numbers towards the right of 0 are positive integers. And all the values towards the left hand side of 0 are all negative integers. Okay, I hope everybody is clear with the structuring of number line, the positive integers and the negative integers. Now, according to this, I'll be making a marking 1, 2, 3, and this keeps going on further. And similarly, towards this side, we have -1, -2, -3, and this keeps going on. Okay? And 0 is an integer. 0 is an integer which is neither positive nor negative. Very, very important point. Okay? Neither positive nor negative integer. It does not have any sign, and it doesn't make any sense for 0 to have a sign as well. 0 is itself 0 in itself, right? Because 0 does not have any value to it. Whether it's a positive or negative, it doesn't make any sense. So 0 does not have any sign. It is neither a positive nor a negative integer, but it is a neutral integer, you could say. Okay? I hope that was clear enough. So this would go on till minus infinity. This will go on till infinity. When I say infinity, it means that it does not have a fixed value at which it ends. It keeps going on. Okay? I hope that was clear to all of you about the number line. Now with this, we would be quickly moving ahead with the applications. So as you all can see, integers has a lot of applications in various places. It is used to measure the sea level. It is used to measure temperature. We just saw about the thermometer. Thermometer has a principle of number line wherein integers are being used. Speed limit, yes. Speed limit is basically you may notice about speed limiter in your vehicles. So whenever you must have seen that there is a speedometer which shows you, and then there is a speed limiter which comes into picture, right? So all of these are applications of integers itself. All right. So because without integers, without numbers, you do not have anything defined. Nor could you understand what are positives, nor could you understand what are negatives. Okay. Golf. So it is used in case of golf also. And in fact, in most of the games, because in most of the games, and in fact, you could even see in case of exams, you have something called as negative marking. Negative marking is basically for those set of questions which you go wrong with, right? There are a lot of such, exams wherein you have MCQs, and if you go wrong with an answer, it gives you a negative value. So what are these negative? Negative is a kind of penalty given to the candidate. Same way it goes with golf or any other such games. So it's not necessary for every person to have negative values, but then there are a lot of such places wherein negatives are introduced as a form of penalty. So if you do not do something right, you get a negative number. Negative number because if you were at a score of 10 and if due to some mistake you've got a negative of 2 score, so it reduces your positive 10 to 8. Okay. So that's a kind of penalty. This impacting your actual score. Okay. So it's used in music, in counting money, floor in a building, everything. All of these uses the applications of integers. Okay. Alright, so if you think that you also have some application in your mind, you can go ahead and put it on the comment section. Alright, so with this, let's go ahead and check with our objectives for today. So we are going to study about operations on integers, properties on integers, and problems. Okay, so let's go ahead. Operations on integers. I would like to write down some quick things about operations on integers so that it would be helpful for you all to understand few things moving further. First thing is that whenever you have a negative number, let's start with positive. Whenever you have a positive number and positive number, the operation that you are performing is nothing but addition. And the result sign, this is the result sign. The result sign will always be positive sign. Okay? The result sign will always be a positive sign. Going ahead with the next one. If you have a negative and a negative, again the operation that would be performed on the numbers would be addition. And the result, that is the final result, will always have a negative sign. Okay? Third is, if you have a positive and a negative number, then it is always a subtraction. It is always a subtraction. And the result of the sign of the result would depend on the higher value. Higher value sign is what it gets, okay? And the fourth one, whenever you have a negative and a positive, it is again subtraction and it again depends upon the higher value sign, okay? Based on this, we are going to do a lot of examples in coming up. So I could give you some quick examples you all could try. So one thing which you need to keep up in your mind is that if you have same signs repeating, let it be a plus and plus or a minus and minus, the operation performed is always addition. And if you have different sign, if you all can see you have a positive and negative, negative and positive, then the operation performed is always subtraction. Okay. Now, let's take some quick examples. Let's see that 10 plus 13. How much would this be? As you all could see that both of these are positives. So the operation would be addition and it would be 10 plus 13. Any response? Well, it's the most basic question. It's nothing but it's going to be 23 and the result will also have a positive sign. Okay. Let me give you another example. Let's take minus 20 minus 30. As you could see that both of these numbers has a minus and minus. So if both the numbers have negatives, then what is the operation that would be performed? The operation that would be performed is again addition, right? So you could say that 20 and plus 30, which gives you a 50, but the result will have a negative sign. Okay. So this was the second example. Coming to the third one, the third example could be of a positive and a negative number. That is, you could say you could have 70 minus 20. Okay. So as you could see that this is a positive number, this is negative. So the operation performed would be subtraction. So 70 minus 20 gives you a 50. The result will be dependent upon the higher value sign. The higher value 70 here, it has a positive sign. So my result will also have a positive sign. Okay. Coming to the fourth example, a negative and a positive. So let's take minus 100 and plus 80. Okay. So you could see that there is a negative and a positive. So since they are opposite sign, the operation that would be performed is again subtraction. So here it would be 100 minus 80, which is 20. And the result will have a sign which depends on the higher value. The higher value is 100. It has a negative sign. So my final answer will also have a negative sign. So I would request all of you to take a screenshot of this particular operation, because I've seen many times students get confused and end up getting incorrect answers in terms of arithmetic operations on integers. So this table is going to help you a lot in keeping up the right answers. Okay. Now I'm quickly going to erase this and I'm going to come up to multiplication and divisions operation. Everybody is clear with addition and subtraction? I hope so. If not, then please do put your doubts on the comment section. We would be reverting back to it. Okay. Alright. So let me just clear this out. Now we would be going ahead with our multiplication and division. Okay. Now let's say that in the first case, if two numbers are getting multiplied, that means, now we are 1 second. Let me just write this down. Multiplication and division. Okay. So in case of multiplication and division, let's quickly check the first one. The first one is if you have a positive and a positive number, okay, being multiplied or divided. So the rules apply to both multiplication and division, whatever I'm writing here. Okay. So the result will always be a positive number if there are two positive numbers being multiplied. If you have two negative numbers being multiplied, again your result is positive. And if you have your third one, let's say you have a positive and a negative number being multiplied, the result will always have a negative sign. And the fourth one, if you have a negative and a positive number being multiplied, again multiplied or divide. Okay. So let me just write down here. The operation could be, the operation here, what we are looking for could be both multiplication or division. Doesn't matter. Okay. So it is the same for all of these. Okay. So that means whenever we have numbers being multiplied of the same sign, let's say that the first one, 2 times 3. We know that both of these are positive. The result will also be positive. The second one, if we have two negative numbers being multiplied, minus 3 times minus 4. Well, any answer? Anybody who wants to add on? You can all put your answers on the comment section. You have two negative numbers being multiplied. So this would give you a positive 12. A positive 12 as your result. See, here the result is positive. Coming to the third one, let's take a positive of 6 and negative of 9. Okay. So you have one positive number and one negative number being multiplied, and that is going to give you a minus 54. We can take the last example with division. You can take any of these with division also. It doesn't matter. Okay. The only thing you need to look for is the sign. Okay. So now let's take minus 35 divided by 7. So as you could see that one number, the first number is negative, the second is positive. So the result would be negative 5. Okay. I hope I made myself very clear. And again, I would recommend all of you to take a screenshot of this page as well, because again, this is also going to help you a lot when it comes to multiplication and division of integers. Okay. All right. So I hope all of you are clear with the operations on integers about addition, subtraction and multiplication, division. Right? So with this, we are going to go ahead with our properties on integers, which you are going to apply in your upcoming questions. We are not going into the depth of it. When we are going to do the question, we'll be revising through it. Okay? So the first thing is addition. Addition is a plus b, and this basically denotes that it is lying inside the set of integers. Z is basically integers. Commutative law is a plus b is equal to b plus a. So commutative law is followed by addition and multiplication, but not subtraction and division. Okay. You could take up your own examples, because you could say 3 plus 5 is the same as 5 plus 3. But 3 minus 5 is not the same as 5 minus 3. Hence, it's a not equal to. So commutative property is not followed for subtraction and division. Only for multiplication and addition it's followed. Associative is a plus b in parenthesis plus c is the same as a plus b plus c, because ultimately we are adding all the three. But when it comes to subtraction, we first subtract the 2 which is in the parenthesis. Let's say 3 minus 5, which is minus 2, minus, and c is 1. So minus 2 minus 1 is going to give you a minus 3. Whereas here you are going to first do 2 minus 1, which is 1, and 3 minus 1, which is going to give you a 2. So both the answers are not matching. Same way, associative property is followed for addition and multiplication, but not for subtraction and division. Identity, we will get back to this later. And also we have introduced the multiplicative and additive identity in rational numbers. So anybody who hasn't understood about identity can go ahead and watch the rational numbers session, wherein we had discussed about what is additive identity and multiplicative identity. It basically means that whenever you have a number, okay, you need to add something to it so that you get the result as 0. And in case of multiplicative identity, the result needs to be 1. Okay. Coming to distributive property, a times of b plus c. So this is one of the most important properties. Whenever you have two numbers being added inside parenthesis and a number which is outside the parenthesis being multiplied, you expand it. So this a gets multiplied with b as ab, and plus there is a plus in between, and a also gets multiplied with c to give you ac. The same goes with subtraction, ab minus ac. And for multiplication and division, it does not apply. Okay, so this was a brief on properties on integers. To understand this better, I would recommend you all to go through your school curriculum, whatever you've studied in your school, because there you have in much elaborated way. Okay. with more examples. So since we are going to go ahead with problems now, I'm not going much into the properties right now because we have to cover a lot of problems. Okay. All right. Let's quickly go ahead and start with our first question. 14 times 5 plus 7 is equal to 14 times 5 plus 14 times 7. Illustrate which property? The first question itself is on property. So let's see who gives the right answer on this. Okay, any answers, anyone? Well, we just learned some time back that whenever you have a number which is being multiplied outside a parenthesis, it is nothing but it is distributive property. As you could see, you have a 14 and 5. 14 times 5 is being multiplied, and then you have a plus which is written here, and 14 times 7 is also being multiplied. Okay, so this is nothing but a times of b plus c, which we just learned some time back, which is a times of b plus a times of c, and the property is known as the distributive property. Okay. All right. So let's quickly go ahead with our next question. The difference of the sum of all the even numbers and the sum of all the odd numbers between 10 and 20 is. I'm waiting for all of your responses on the comment section. Let's see who gives the answer first. Okay. All right. So let's check here. So they are telling us, so this is a kind of word problem, a very basic word problem. The difference of, the first thing is that what do you have to calculate? Difference. What do you mean by difference? Difference means minus. Okay. Of the sum. Difference of what? Of the sum. So this sum is addition of all the even numbers. So you have to calculate the difference of the sum of, so the sum of the even numbers and the sum of all the odd numbers. So addition of all the odd numbers between 10 and 20. So what we are going to do is between 10 and 20, we are going to figure out all our even numbers and odd numbers. So all the even numbers here are, since they are talking about between 10 to 20, would we be considering 10 and 20 here? No, because 10 and 20 are the range values and you have to only focus into the values between these two. Okay. So even numbers between 10 and 20 are, you can have 12, you can have 14, you can have 16, and you can have 18, right? And similarly, between 10 and 20, when you have to figure out the odd numbers, so what are the odd numbers? The odd numbers are 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19. Okay. So these are all the odd numbers. Now we are going to calculate the sum in both the cases. So when we add up all of these, when we add this plus this plus this, so let's see who gives the right answer. Now the best way to add such numbers are, we know that 12, 14, 16, 18, all of these definitely have tens into picture. So 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is 40. Along with that, we have 2 plus 4, which is 6. 6 plus 6, which is 12. 12 plus 8, which is 20. So we already had a 40 initially. So 40 plus 20 is going to give you how much? It's going to give you a 60. You want me to repeat the whole procedure? Let me again say 12 plus 14 plus 16 plus 18. The best way to calculate such numbers are by setting a base value. As you all could see that the base value for all of these numbers are 10. So you know that definitely there are tens in all these four numbers. So 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 is going to give us a 40. And after you have already taken away 10 from each of these, you are left just with a 2 here, 4 here, 6 here, and 8 here. So 2 plus 4 is 6, 6 plus 6 is 12, 12 plus 8 is 20. So 40 we initially had plus 20, which is giving us a 60. Got it? Now same way, I want all of you to try for this as well using the method which I told just now. Okay? You could go ahead with it. So again, I'm setting my base value to be 10. So 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is going to give me, there are 5 numbers, so there are 50. Okay? And now what's left? 1 plus 3, which is 4, plus 5 is 9, plus 7 is 16, plus 9 is 25. So we initially had 50 and now we are having 25. So 50 plus 25 is going to give us a 75. We have to calculate. So we have already calculated the sum of even numbers and sum of odd numbers. Ultimately, we have to calculate the difference between the two. What's the difference between these two? So we have 75 minus 60, which is going to give us a 15. And hence option C is the right answer. I hope all of you understood the question. With this, we'll quickly go ahead with our next question. Which of the following number line represents minus 1 minus 4? Very simple question. Looks very tricky, but then it's very easy. I mean, don't get scared by looking into the options because they are super simple. Okay? Let's see who gives the right answer. Which of the following number line represents minus 1 minus 4? The hint to this question is, first evaluate the value of minus 1 minus 4 according to the operations of integers which we learned in the beginning of the session. And if anybody is able to give the answer, I would really appreciate that because number line question has come up for the first time in our session today. And if you're quick with it, that means you're really confident with the concept of number line. Okay, so the first thing that we would be doing is we would be evaluating minus 1 minus 4, which is going to give us a minus 5, right? So as you can see, minus 5 is ultimately what they want you to represent on the number line. And out of A, B, C, D, you could see that in the first option, here, how many jumps have been made? From 0 to minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 and minus 5. So option A itself is the right answer because it has made minus 5 jumps on the left hand side. Any other option, if you notice, from minus 1 to 4, it doesn't give you minus 5. From 0 to minus 4, no. From 1 to minus 5, no. So since it's a minus 5, the jumps made on the negative side has to be 5 jumps. Okay? I hope that was clear enough. With this, we would be proceeding further. Well, this is something which is pretty interesting. Interesting as in this is something which is related to the Bodmas Rule also, which we have studied in our lower grades as well as in integers. Okay, so I want all of you to give it a try. Let's see who gives the right answer. And also there's something called as, I mean, this line is there above 3 minus 7. Does anybody know what do we exactly call that as and what's the significance of it? Any of you who understand what's that horizontal bar kind of thing above 3 minus 7 could put in your answers on the comment section and also could tell the significance of it. Okay, so this is known as vinculum. Okay, this is known as vinculum. So whenever you have any number, so vinculum basically means grouping. So whenever you have any horizontal line above any set of numbers, you can say that those set of numbers are grouped and you can perform the operation on that immediately. Okay. Alright, so let's quickly check here. So as per the Bodmas rule, first of all, we need to understand few more things. Of means multiplication, right? Anything else here? Nothing else. So when we go from left to right, as per Bodmas rule, we know that bracket comes first. Then we have order, which means exponents. Then we have division, multiplication on the same priority. But whenever you go from left to right, whichever appears first, you can do that first. And then we have addition and subtraction and the same priority. Okay, so now I'm going to quickly solve this. So first I could see that going from left to right, I have this parenthesis occurring first. And inside this parenthesis, I would first go ahead with the vinculum part, which is 3 minus 7. And 3 minus 7 is going to give me a minus 4. So 5 times of minus 4 is what we would be having here. So let me quickly write it down here. 15 divided by 3 plus 10, a curly bracket open, 60 minus 8 divided by 4 plus 3, and then you have a parenthesis open. We are going to replace this off with multiplication, and we've calculated 3 minus 7, which is nothing but a negative of 4. Okay. So this, we are going to close it up, and now we are going to slowly solve this. Now next what? Next we are again going to solve this up. So this is going to give us a 15 divided by 3 plus 10, and then you have a 60 minus 8 divided by 4 plus 3 times of 5. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20, right? So we have negative 20 here. Okay. The next thing what we could do is 15 divided by 3 plus 10. And now you could actually skip some steps and do few 2 to 3 steps together in one step. Okay. If you are confident with it enough. So this is going to give you See, this is going to give you 3 times negative 20, which is negative 60, and 8 divided by 4 is going to give you a 2. So I'm doing both of these steps together here. Okay. And now when you go from here to here again, so you could say that 15 divided by 3, and I'm going to perform the operation together 10 times of. So the 60 and minus 60 gets cancelled. You have a minus 2 left. Okay. Now you could see that going from left to right, you have the division first. So 15 divided by 3 gives you a 5, and 10 times of minus 2 gives you a minus 20. So this is ultimately going to give us a minus 15. Hence option B is the right answer. So Bodmas is one of the application which is again very, very important here. And about Bodmas, we had already learnt about it in our mathematical operations chapter, that is under APTI. So anybody who is not very clear with Bodmas, please go ahead, watch the session on mathematical operation. I'm sure that your concepts will get clearer. Okay. All right. So I hope everybody understood the significance of what do you mean by vinculum and what do you mean by off. Okay. Alright, so with this, we are going to proceed with our next question. Which of the following options is not true with respect to the given number line? So as you all could see that this is a marking which is made. So let me just mark this with pink because this is a huge huge marker. And then you have minus 10, you have a plus 10. This is a B here, this is an A here. Okay, so B is this and A is this. Now let's check which statement is not correct. B is greater than minus 10. One thing about negative numbers which I want to mention is the smaller the negative value, the greater is the value. Always remember, negative numbers are exactly opposite to positive numbers. In case of positive numbers, 2 is greater than 1, 3 is greater than 2. As you keep moving ahead with the left hand side, the values keep increasing. Alright, but in case of negative numbers, when you keep, in case of positive, when you keep moving on the right hand side, the values keep increasing. And in case of negative numbers, when you keep moving towards the left hand side, the values decreases. As in minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Minus 2 is smaller than minus 1. Minus 3 is smaller than minus 2. Okay? Because they are negatives. The more the magnitude of the negative numbers are, the smaller the values are. Okay? Alright, so with this, we are going to check out this. B is greater than minus 10. So we know that B is lying before minus 10, and as I told you, as it keeps going to the left, the values keep reducing. So it's very obvious that B is going to be greater than minus 10. So that's correct. A is greater than 0. Yes, for sure. Let's mark this as 0. A is greater than 0. As towards the right hand side, values keep increasing. A is greater than B. Of course, B is on the left hand side, which is negative number, and A is positive. So A is definitely greater than B. B is greater than 0. No. So as you know that when you go towards the left hand side, the values decreases. So of course, B is towards the left of 0. So it's going to be lesser than 0 but not greater. Hence option D is the incorrect statement with respect to the number line. Okay. I hope that was clear to all of you. Going ahead, here goes the question. I want you all to have a look, take your time and then analyze and give the answer. The 6-day forecast for Antarctica lists the temperature in Celsius as minus 52, minus 53, minus 40, minus 58, minus 70 and minus 79. Which choice shows the temperatures in order from the lowest to the highest? Lowest, guys, understand? Lowest in terms of negative numbers, what's going to be the lowest? So that is something which needs to first strike your mind. Let's see that who gives the right answer to this. Okay. Any responses? Anybody? Alright, let's check here. As you all could see that out of all of these, they are all negative numbers. And as I just mentioned, the greater the value of negative numbers, the values keep reducing. That means I could say that out of all of these, minus 79 is the greatest negative number. Hence, it is the least value. So I'm sure that out of A, B, C and D, B and D could not be the options. It would be either of A and C. Because they have asked us to start from the lowest value and minus 79 degrees Celsius is the lowest. After minus 79, what do we have? We have a minus 70. Then we have a minus 58. Right? Then we have a minus 52 and then we have minus 53. Sorry, we have minus 53 first, then we have minus 52 and then it comes to minus 40. Hence, it's option C as you all could see here. Okay. And the sign that would be going is like this, ascending order. Okay. I hope everybody understands ascending or increasing order. This is what the requirement of the question was. Okay, all right. So with this, let's proceed further. If you're liking the session, please do hit on the like option and do share it with your friends. Okay, let's quickly look into this question. In a class test of 20 questions, so there are 20 questions in a class test, 5 marks are given for every correct answer. That means a positive 5 mark is given to every correct answer and minus 2 marks are given for every incorrect answer. That means there's a negative marking of 2 for every incorrect answer here. Kavya attempts all questions and gets only 7 of them correct. Only 7 of them correct is what is being told for Kavya. But there's another keyword here. She attempts all the questions. That means out of 20, she is attempting all the 20 questions. But out of those 20 questions, she has got only 7 of them to be correct. What is Kavya's complete score? Now, my first question to you all is that if Kavya is attempting all the 20 questions and if only 7 of them are correct out of those, then how many are incorrect? Can anybody tell me? So, I can say that 7 of them are correct answers. So, how many of them are incorrect answers? It's very obvious that you are going to subtract those correct questions from the total number of questions. So, 20 minus 7 is going to give you a 13. So, you are going to have 13 questions which are incorrect. Okay. This was the first thing to be taken from this question. Once you understand that there are 7 correct questions, so 13 incorrect question, now you know that for every correct question, you have 5 marks given, right? So if for every correct question, that is for 1 correct question, you have 5 marks. For 2 correct questions, you have 5 plus 5, 10 marks. Similarly, for 7 correct questions, how much marks would you have? It would be 7 times, any responses on the comment section? It's going to be 7 times of 5, which is going to be 35. Okay. So 35 is the score for her correct responses. But we cannot say that she has scored 35. Do you remember in the beginning I had told that the negative marking system is a penalty kind of thing for you wherein it impacts your actual score. Okay. So since Kavya has also attempted incorrect questions, hence she has got a penalty of negative marking. Okay. And we are going to check how much is the penalty. So as you all can see that for every incorrect answer, there's a minus 2. So for one question, 1 incorrect answer, it's minus 2. For 2 incorrect answer, it is minus 2 and minus 2, minus 4. For 3 incorrect answer, it's minus 2, minus 2, minus 2, which is minus 6. So for 13 incorrect answers, how much marks would it be? How much marks would she be losing? It's going to be 13 times of minus 2, which is going to be a minus 26. So though she was at a positive of 35, still the penalty itself is minus 26. So finally, what score is she at? So 35 minus of 26, which gives us a 9. So ultimately, she has scored only 9. Now, I hope all of you are able to relate on understanding why is it recommended for all of you not to attempt all the questions. So what Kavya did was, Kavya attempted everything. But let's say that Kavya would have attempted only the questions which she was sure about. She would have in fact scored much better marks, which is 35. Isn't it so? So 20 out of 20 questions, even if she would have got 7 correct and if she wouldn't have attempted any other question, she would have scored 35. Decent. I mean, decent than 9 itself, right? So I'm sure none of you would be wanting to go into negative side. So hence it is recommended whenever you're working out on any such kind of exam wherein you know that there's a negative marking system happening, be careful. Go ahead with only those questions which are going to give you marks and you're sure about. Okay? Do not attempt just for the sake of attempting. The number of questions you attempt doesn't matter. The correct number of questions that you've attempted is what matters the most. Okay? I hope this question made your concept of integers also clear and also helped you in understanding on how does the real kind of pattern of examination works. Okay? Alright, so I hope everybody is understanding the session. With this, we are going to move ahead with our advanced level. And here goes our first question on advanced level, which is again somewhat similar to the previous question. So I want all of you to give it a try and then we are going to discuss on it. Okay, let's quickly check here. Anybody who has got the correct answer, let's check on the comment section. Okay, all right. Please keep responding, guys. I want maximum responses from all of you. In a class test of 20 questions, 5 marks are given for every correct answer and -2 marks are given for every incorrect answer. Same thing, the concept is the same. If Gurpreet scored 15 correct and 5 wrong answers, right? So that means she has got 15 correct and 5 wrong answers. Then what will be his scores? That's it. Very simple. So out of these 20 questions, 15 are correct and 5 are wrong. So from this 15 questions, how much marks is Gurpreet scoring? So he, you know that for each question, for each correct question, it's 5 marks which is being rewarded. So 15 times 5, which is equal to 75, and 5 for 5 wrong answers, it's going to be a 5 times of -2, because for each question there is a negative marking of 2, which is going to give us a -10. So altogether, how much did Gurpreet score? 75 for the correct questions, -10 for incorrect as a penalty, which is nothing but 65. Okay. I hope this was clear to all of you. And now the concept of marks is very clear. I'm sure about it. Okay. With this, we are going to go ahead with our second question. All right. This is a very nice question, and this also involves some concept of speed, time, and distance. So even if you're not able to understand, it's completely okay. The concept might be quite new to you. Don't worry. I'm going to help you out all. Okay. The distance above the ground is represented by positive integers and the distance below. So above the ground is positive and below the ground is negative. An elevator begins to descend. What do you mean by descending? Descending means it's coming downwards. Okay, it's going downwards from 15 meter above the ground at a rate of 5 meter per minute. What will be its position after 45 minutes? Let's say that this is the elevator. Okay, this is my elevator. Okay, and in this elevator, let's say that this is the ground level. This is the 0th floor. 0th floor. So currently, you can assume this 15 meter to be 15th floor as well, whatever you wish to. So currently, the elevator was at 15 meter. It is coming downwards, 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 and then it is going down at the rate of 5 meter per minute. As in every minute, it is covering 5 meters of distance. Okay. So now the question is that after 45 minutes, at how much distance would the elevator go in? Okay. To understand that after 45 minutes, at what distance will the elevator be? First, understand the question well. You have to divide it into 2 sections. One is from 15 meters to 0th meter, or you could say this is 0th floor or 0 meter. As of now, we are going to take with 0 meter because we are working on distance. Okay. So 15 meter to 0 meter, we are first going to understand how much time did the elevator take to reach from 15 meter to 0 meter. Now understand this well, that if 5 meters is being covered in 1 minute, then 15 meters would be covered in how many minutes? I again repeat my question. If 5 meters is covered in 1 minute, then 15 meters would be covered in how many minutes? It would be 15 divided by 5, which is going to be 3 minutes. Okay. So in 3 minutes, the elevator is going to reach from 15 meters to 0 meters. So I'm going to write this down. This is 3 minutes. And based on this, I'm also going to write a formula. Time is equal to distance upon speed. Time is equal to distance upon speed. And you can also say from here, you could take the speed to the other side by cross multiplying. So distance would be equal to time into speed. Okay. These are few things which you would be learning in science as well as math in the upcoming grades. So if you do not know about it, it's completely okay. But even in terms of simple English, we have understood that if in 1 minute, this per basically means 1. So if in 1 minute, the elevator is covering 5 meter of distance, then 15 meters would be covered in how many minutes? So we know that to get a 15, we are multiplying it by 3 and 3. So we are getting our 15 meters in 3 minutes. Okay. As in, out of these 45 minutes, so the elevator has already started operating from 15 meters. So out of these 45 minutes, 3 minutes has already been taken for the elevator to reach till the 0 meters, right? So out of this 45 minutes, already 3 minutes has been taken away. So what's the remaining time? We have only 42 minutes. But in these 42 minutes, what's going to happen is the elevator is going below 0 meter. And we know that below 0 meter, anything below the ground is represented by negative integers. So in the rest of 42 minutes, what is the total distance that the elevator would cover? So we know that if 5 meter is being covered in 1 minute, then in 42 minutes, how much distance would be covered? So it would become 42 times 5, which is going to give us a 210. 210 meters would be covered in the rest of the 42 minutes. Because in 1 minute, it is 5 meter. Okay. I again repeat, in 1 minute, it is 5 meter. So in 42 minutes, it's 42 times 5, which is 210 meters. But this 210 meters is below the ground level, below the 0 meters. And we know that below the ground level, it is supposed to be negative integers. So this is going to be a minus 210 meter. I'm sure that you must have understood by now. It's option B. Okay, and now I'm sure you all understood why did I divide it into two sections. Why did I first come from 15 to 0 and then 0 to the rest of it? Because here we had an interference of both positive and negatives. So that's why I went case by case. First, I came from 15 to 0 and checked how much time was required for the elevator to cover this distance. And then from 0 to 40, so 0 to what distance would be covered in 42 minutes? That's what we tried to figure it out. Okay. I hope that was clear to all of you. With this, we are going to go ahead with our next question. Here goes our last question for a day. Okay, so this is again based on something called as profit and loss, CP and SP. So if anybody has studied about what do you mean by profit, loss, CP and SP, you will be able to understand this question very easily. And for any of you who are very new to this, do not worry, we would be learning this very easily. Okay, and you're also going to study about this concept in your upcoming grades as well. Let's quickly check what's happening here. A clothes shop owner earns a profit of rupees 200 by selling a shirt. What do you mean by a profit? A profit is something which a shopkeeper is gaining on. Gaining as in for whatever amount he has purchased the shirt for, he's selling it for more price. Let's say that I've got my pen for 5 rupees, but I'm selling it for 10 rupees. So it's a gain for me, right? I'm getting profited or I'm getting gained by the selling of it. That's how your business works, right? So it says that a clothes shop owner earns a profit of rupees 200 by selling a shirt and suffers a loss of rupees 100 by selling a pair of trousers. That means, let's say that, the shopkeeper must have got the shirt for, let's say, 100. Let's say the shopkeeper has got the shirt for 100 rupees, but he's selling it for 300. That means this 100 rupees was his cost price, but he's selling it for 300 rupees. So what's the extra amount he's getting? What's the extra amount he's gaining? His selling price is 300. His cost price is 100. Subtract 300 minus 100, you get 200. That's how it is 200 profit. But in case of pair of trousers, what's happening? Here, the shopkeeper must have got the trousers for, let's say, 300 rupees, but he's selling it for 200. Because he's not getting any customer who is buying it for 300 or more than that. So in this case, he has to sell it for a lower rate than what he had got for. So here, his buying price or cost price was 300, but his selling price is 200. So 300 minus 200 gives you a 100 rupee loss. Okay. Now it's being told what is his profit or loss if he sells 5 shirts and 2 pairs of trousers. So we know that for one shirt, the profit is 200. So for 5 shirts, how much would be the profit amount? So it would be 5 times of 200. It's going to be rupees 1000. And we know that this rupees 1000 is nothing but the profit amount as we are talking about the shirt. But coming to 2 pairs of trousers, in case of trousers, you all can see is that he's selling 2 pairs of trousers. So if 1 pair of trousers is giving him a loss of rupees 100, so 2 pair of trousers is going to give him a loss of how much amount? 2 times of 100, and that's going to be a rupees 200, and this is a loss. And we know that loss is represented by negative because it's going to the lower side, right? And profit is by positive. So this is, in a way, I could say this is a positive 1000 and this is a negative 200, as this is loss. So what is his overall profit or loss? Combine these two, just like the marks question we had done, 100,000 minus 200, which is 800. We are still getting a positive result. That means his profit was much more than what he had actually lost. So he's still at a profit of how much amount? At 800 rupees. Let's say that this would have been the other way around. If the loss would have been minus 1000, but the profit would have been 200. So minus 1000 plus 200 would have given you a minus 800, which would have been a loss of 800. Okay? Clear with this? I hope everybody understood the question, enjoyed the session. Any of you who did not understand any question, I request you all to go back to the video, because the recording is going to be saved. You all can watch it once again, pause on it, and also take the screenshot of the questions you did not understand. Try to understand them. Otherwise, you can post it on the comment section and we'll be replying there. With this, we are going to go ahead with our learning outcomes. So we have understood how to perform operations on integers, especially the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Very, very important. If your operations of integers are not clear, you will not be able to move ahead. Okay? Various properties used in integers. Solving word problems by reading the statements carefully. So I hope all of you did enjoy the session. With this, I would quickly like to brief ahead about TUCO. So the Ultimate Cuemath Olympiad has been started by Cuemath, and the exam is going to be held in the month of November and December. So anybody who is not registered for TUCO, you can go ahead and register today. The link is there in the description box, and the amount of registration is just 200 rupees. And along with this registration, you are also going to get practice worksheets from Cuemath's end, the whole curriculum for the Olympiad preparation, and all of these is just for 200. And the curriculum is worth rupees 5,000, and everything is just in 200 rupees. So I hope all of you did enjoy the session. Please like the session and share it with your friends if you did so. See you in tomorrow's session.